Was there a specific person or event that inspired you to run for Secretary General?
So to be honest, my experience in Model UN has been inspired by a lot of different people. But at the end of the day, everything traces back to one person in General Assembly A my freshman year. And that year, I came to conference totally unprepared. I had no idea what was going on, much like every freshman. And it's honestly a common story. It's universal among all delegates. But at that conference, I approached Aiden Hughes. He was my college advisor. And I talked to him there, and I asked what being an officer meant. And he told me that being an officer was a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it was worth it because you get to see the growth in a lot of different people. And that response really inspired me to run for Secretary General and then for officer. Aiden Hughes is the person to whom I attribute all my success in this program. He's the person who showed me what MUN really meant, and he's the person who's guided me year after year, because I always think of him as the prime example of an officer who's great and who's inspiring as a person.
Okay. What are the pillars of your campaign, and how do you expect it to improve the conference?
So I have a lot of different ideas for next year, and at the end of the day, even though I have my own ideas, I really want to integrate the YS and the delegates, because the conference, even though it's run by one section and a core of officers, there are so many different delegates involved, and it's constantly expanding and growing. It's going from 1,500 people in my freshman year to 1,600 last year, to more than 1,800 this year, and probably near 2,000 next year. So I want to allow delegates to get a role in the conference, to get them to participate beyond what they do at conference. Since so many people turn out to run for officer every year, I want to get those people integrated into the process. And my own platform, I want to focus on expanding cross-committee interaction. I want to focus on the day of service. I want to get conference to expand on its own, which won't be a problem. I want to restructure committees and overall increase organization within the Corps.
How do you think that the UN should handle ISIS?
Okay, so that's a tricky scenario because traditionally speaking, Islamic extremists in the Middle East have hated the United States for 3 reasons. The first is that the United States has intervened in the Middle East historically. The second is that the United States supports the existence of Israel, an organization they believe shouldn't be on the face of this planet. And the third is that the United States, their culture and values, our culture and values, opposes what they believe is right or Islamic. But honestly, the right answer is a tricky one. Since we've intervened so much in the past, I think it's absolutely imperative that we empower the people of the Middle East to handle the situation on our own. Because if we handle it with military force, we'll eradicate it for the time being. But forces of Islamic extremism will return in the future. So it's necessary that we find the right mix of diplomacy, empowerment, and international coalitions. The coalition in the past few weeks was a genius step of diplomacy. And we need to find a way to find the right mix and the right balance of that to ensure that the people of the Middle East can prosper and succeed in the future.
Great. If you had one day left to live, how would you spend it?
That's a funny question because honestly, out of the entire year, the 3 days of Model UN are my favorite. And if I had to pick one day, then it would probably be the Sunday at MUN. Since even though it's bittersweet and sad that everyone is leaving, it's honestly one of my favorite days of the year. Just because so many people come together and you experience the emotion and love of Model UN. You experience what the program is really about, and you find a way to apply it to your life. You find a way to bring all the ideals of Model UN, all of the lessons you learn from the conference, and apply it to the other 362 days of the year. So if I had to pick one day, it would definitely be the Sunday at MUN.